watch that blonde corner right there. That one too. Sorry, man, I didn't see you coming. Welcome back to TME. I'm just gonna call it TME for Truck Me Eccentrically. How y'all doing out there? Anybody else trucking eccentrically like me? I've got some stuff to show you today on my way back to McDonough from over here in Alabama. This is Alabaster. If you guys saw my previous video, not the last one, but the one before that, I already showed you a clip of me leaving Alabaster, heading over to Anniston. But today, we're not gonna do that. In fact, that particular video that I'm talking about, I was telling you guys that I don't particularly like to head north from here. I always like to finish here in Alabaster and then head back to McDonough. Sometimes that's not possible, like that particular day, which required me to take a different route to get back to McDonough. Well, today I'm gonna show you the route that I was telling you I wish I could take in that video, if that makes any sense at all. And it's pretty cool. It takes about 4 hours as opposed to, you know, 3 hours and 15 minutes or maybe 3.5 hours to take the interstate. So it's a little bit longer, but it's worth it because you get to see some pretty cool stuff, some pretty cool countryside. And it just so happens to be raining on and off again today. There's just something about these rainy days. It seems like it's always raining when I'm trying to make a video, but that's the way it is today. So first thing I'm gonna do is head over to 65, which is right over there. I'm gonna jump on 65 South. Good thing too, you guys see the backup in the northbound lanes over there? We're getting on 65 South and we're gonna go down about 30 miles or so. And get off right there. Now that is US 31. And we're only going to be on that road for about a mile or so before we jump on Alabama 22 and head east toward US 280. But I do want to show you guys Alabama 22 because it's very scenic. It's a cool road. It's a little bit white knuckle for a truck in some spots, but it's actually one of my favorite roads to drive on, I think. As long as you don't get stuck behind a slowpoke, and that does happen from time to time. But it's a decent route. Am I gonna be able to make this turn? Mr. Mercedes, well, I don't even have enough time to make the turn. And they were kind of hanging out over that white line there. Look. Did you see their face? Oh crap, I got a green light. Hey, you better go. You see all that traffic behind you? Okay, I'm done. So I'll talk more about it when we get down there. Right now I'm just trying to get on the interstate and go south about 30 miles like I was saying. So I'll get back with you once I get down there. Okay guys, not to get a copyright strike already. I just started this channel. I can't be having that, but this is our exit. It's 205. Again, US 31, but only for a second. Then we're gonna merge onto Alabama 22, which is also right here. It's connected with US 31. But yeah, you guys are gonna see this road I'm talking about. It's a nice road. Again, sometimes you get stuck behind slow vehicles, and then, well, I guess if you want to be optimistic, you get to look at the scenery a little bit closer because you're not moving as fast. But still, it's like, yeah, sometimes people drive really slow on this road. That happens to me a lot. So, but it's to be expected, I guess, because, you know, I tend to use roads that are scenic and isolated and everything else. And this is one of those roads for sure. And all it does, again, is it links us up with US 280. Which I have things to say about that road too, but I'll wait till we get there to talk about that road. Oh wow, it's a little bit further than I thought it was. It's like almost 4 miles down here on the left. I don't remember it being that far. Yeah, it's just my nature to try to find some of the least traveled paths, or, you know, like as far as that can go when it comes to driving a truck. And I'm pretty hard-headed. Sometimes it pays off. Like just now at the place I just left, you guys, you familiar with those lamps, those dock lamps? They're like hung on the walls right there where the dock doors are, and they're like flexible, adjustable, and the forklift drivers will like move them and turn them on so that they can see what's in the trailer as they unload it. Well, I pretty much just ran right into one back there. Like, I busted my freaking cranium on one. I was trying to lower the dock plate down, and I was looking down on the ground or on the floor or whatever, and I wasn't looking up, and I stepped forward and I just boom, just plow, hit my head on it really hard. So I kind of got a headache right now. I felt so stupid. It's not the first time I've done that either. I do that a lot. I've hit my head on those stupid things so many times. Need to pay more attention, or maybe I need to wear a hard hat. I'm special. I need a hard hat. But yeah, that crap hurt. Okay, we're like a mile away from the turnoff now. Sneaky Pete's liquor store. I'm not really sure where this road ends up. I'm pretty sure that it will also eventually get you to 280. Either that or it'll get you to I-85 is what I'm thinking. Either one or the other. I don't know if this road goes into Georgia or not, since I mean, it probably does since it's a US route. I'd have to look on a map to check it out, but yeah, this is pretty much the only exposure I've had to US 31 right here. Anyway, this is our turn right here. And this is the road I'm talking about that's really cool. A lot of sharp turns, a lot of grades. There's one bridge that we'll drive across, and it's really cool. If you look to the north, there's like a big dam, and then if you look to the south, there's what appears to be like a pedestrian footbridge. I don't think we'll be able to see the other bridge I'm talking about, but if I briefly turn my head to the left, we might be able to see that dam. It looks really cool. I was coming from this direction this morning at about 5:30, right as the sun was rising, and it was just gorgeous out here. But now it's raining, so one of the main things I wanted to show you on this route was this road right here. There's another road we're gonna take to get into Georgia on the other side of 280, and that's Alabama 50. That's another really cool scenic road that I want to show you, and you'll get to see a lot of that road too. But it's just quaint countryside out here. Not a whole lot. There appears to be some kind of special park or something, maybe a campground or something around here. And it has to do with that river that we're gonna drive over. The bridge I was talking about a minute ago. And it might be a campground, it might be a state park, I'm not sure, but it's very pretty out here. And see the road, it just kind of rolls up and down a lot of hills. And it looks like we might end up actually getting stuck behind a slow truck up here. I haven't caught up to him yet, but I just saw it. It's it might be a dump truck. Now, one interesting thing to point out about Alabama is that you have county roads. On top of your state highways, you also have county roads. That's what these blue signs you're seeing are. These are all county roads. So I would take that to mean that they're maintained by the county. And sometimes trucks are allowed on them, but sometimes they're not. And it's kind of hard to tell if you are allowed on those particular roads. Now, there have been some that I've used before in the past that I was okay to be on, but I really couldn't tell you how to tell whether or not you're going to be good on a county road in Alabama. But they're all over the state. Some of them are just as big as state highways or US routes, but some of them are pretty small. So you'd have to use like some real discretion on whether or not you'd get on one of those roads. Got some road work or something going on down here. Here's the bridge though, right here. And we're on this road for a total of 30 miles from the time we turn off of 31 back there to the time we turn on to 280 down here. We're gonna be on this road for about 30 miles. Check out this view though. It's coming up. Check that out. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? Pretty awesome looking. And I was coming from the other way this morning earlier, coming down this hill, and the sun was coming up behind me, and it was just lighting up the forest and everything around, and it was just so nice looking, like coming off of these rocks and everything. I should have got that, but I don't really like the way my GoPro films in low light. It doesn't look very good, so that's why typically when I make these videos, you'll see me starting them after I complete my first load or my first stop. If I have multiple stops, or if I only have one stop, I usually don't start my videos until the work is done and I'm on my way back to McDonough, simply because if I can avoid filming in low light situations, I'd prefer to. These hills and curves and everything, they're pretty fun though, I ain't gonna lie. It's entertaining. If you were real heavy, it'd probably be a pain in the butt, but if you're empty, yeah, it's fun. So, whee! Great road to drive a truck on, really is. Check out these random rocks right here. Kind of strange, huh? It's kind of interesting. Like, I wonder what that was. If those have just always been there, or if that's like a really old structure, or what. There's some more right there. I wonder if that's like a burial ground or something. Like a Native American burial ground. There's more right there on the left side. Strange. Anyway, here's the town I was telling you we were gonna go through. I'm not sure what it is, what the name of it is. There's no city limit sign or anything, but this is a four-way stop right here. And you gotta watch it because it really sneaks up on you. You're just like, suddenly you're just here, you know. It just pops out of nowhere. So you gotta watch your speed. right there. And then we're about 8 miles from where Highway 22, it kind of does this. So it turns to the left and then it's like an immediate right. And that's 30 miles. That turn is like 30 miles away from back there at US 31. But after we make that right turn onto 22, like staying on it, we still got maybe another, I don't know, 10 to 15 miles till we get to 280. Okay guys, so check this out. That's 30 miles right there from when we turned on to 22. But now we're gonna turn left. Whew. That closed gas station, it's called the Old Golden Rule. All right, now we turn right here because it goes this way now. So it literally just does this. So I'm thinking maybe another 15 miles tops and we'll be at US 280. We're gonna turn right, go south for probably another 20 something miles on 280. And then we're gonna get on that other road I was telling you about, Alabama 50, which is also pretty scenic. It's pretty nice out there. 280 is a different story. It's not my favorite road to drive on. Not even close, but I'll get that too. I'll show you what 280 looks like right in this area of Alabama when we get there. Okay, this is called Alexander City. We're getting pretty close to 280 at this point. And I think this city, it actually goes all the way out there. Part of 280 goes through part of this city that we're in now. Oh wow. Okay, so it's not even 15 miles. I'm gonna say it's more like under 10 miles from that turnoff back there. So all together, you're on this road coming from US 31 back there, to get to 280, you're on 22 for less than 40 miles. Because we're at 280 now. I thought it was a little bit further, but it's not. Okay. Here's 280. And I don't like this road. At least not this part of it. It's not my favorite place to be, but in order to do this route, I have to take this road. It's essential actually to this route. It's not that bad, but at the same time, four-wheelers will tend to bum rush you on this road because the speed limit outside of the towns, like in between, is 65. So when I go through the areas where it's 65, I'm doing 70. I've got it wide open, you know, until my speed control kicks in. Because why not? I mean, it's a 4-lane divided highway, and you know, it's just open space. So yeah, I'll do 70, and it's not usually a problem. It's a lot like 431, if you guys are familiar with that road in Alabama that goes to Dothan. But this road is a little bit busier than that road. But anyway, I'll be doing 70, right? In the 65 zone, I'll be doing 70, and the vehicles will come up. They'll either come up and they'll block the left lane like this minivan's doing right here, or they'll come up and they'll get right next to me, but they won't pass me. They'll just get next to me and block me so I can't pass whoever's in front of me. They like to do that a lot in Alabama. I'm not sure why. But they'll also cruise in the left lane, even though it's really meant for passing. They'll cruise in the left lane. Like, I kind of need to get over right here because these trucks in front of me are moving really slow. They had just started from a red light, so they had to speed up. They had to build speed. This light up here's turning red. The red lights too, they're kind of annoying because yeah, they're just kind of a nuisance. But anyway, yeah, I'll be doing 70 and they'll pass me, so they'll be doing like 75, and then they'll come up and they'll get in front of me, and then they'll slow down. Like, they don't really want to drive faster than I'm driving, but they don't want to be behind me. So they'll pass me and then they'll slow down. They'll realize, oh, I don't want to go this fast, and then they'll slow down, and then I have to pass them. And then they're like, what the heck is this guy's problem? You see what I'm saying? So that's what it leads to a lot on this road, and it can be kind of annoying when it happens repeatedly, just over and over. Yeah, it can be annoying. I just like to get it over with, you know. I don't like to spend time on this, any more time than I have to on this road. I just don't. I like to get on and off of it, use it for what I need to use it for, and then get off of it, because not my favorite place to be. Again, there's a pretty cool downgrade coming up a little further up here, and I mean, it's pretty cool. It's a sharp downgrade. It goes down to a bridge. I'm gonna go ahead and get over so I'm not blocking the left lane. See, this truck just passed both of those vehicles right there, those four-wheelers. he passed them because they were driving slow. And he came back over and got in front of them, and when he did that, they both got in the left lane. Now they're gonna pass him. And that's basically all this is. The whole time you're on this road, it's just over and over again, same thing. But check this out. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty steep downgrade. I think I called it sharp. I meant to say steep. But the good thing about this is that I'm not going to be on this road for very long. Only about 18 more miles. And then I'm done with it. But yeah, I have to get on this road to get down there to Alabama 50 without going way out of the way. I have to take this road. I'm gonna make my turn up here. I got a mile, and I'm gonna make a left turn onto Alabama 50. We'll go through a town. As soon as we get on 50, we go through this old town. It's pretty cool looking. And then the rest of that road is pretty nice. I like it. It's just another 2-lane state highway. Here's the junction. Camp Hill, that's what it's called. Now we're gonna cross over an intersection right up here, and the road, it's called Old 280. So I'm just thinking that maybe that's the historical, like the original US Route 280. They redid it when they made it 4 lanes and moved it over to the west, but just a little bit. But this is the original 280 right here, and it's probably pretty cool. It probably goes through some old towns, and there's probably a lot of cool stuff on that road, that crossroad we're about to go over. But trucks aren't allowed on it. You see Old 280, no trucks. It says no vehicles over 3 axles allowed. So no tractor trailers, basically. But it might be kind of a cool little journey going down that road. But here's Camp Hill, just a small town right here. Historic marker, 1,500 feet. There's a couple things like that in this town. There's an old Methodist church, and it appears to be a landmark. It might be on the National Historic Registry, but it's pretty interesting looking and very old. Yeah, so that sign about the historic marker, it must be talking about the church. It's up here on the right. I just like looking at old stuff, guys. That's why I think this is so cool. But there's 2 old churches. But yeah, that's a Methodist church. First, actually no, it said First Universalist Church. There was a placard back there. It'd be interesting to read what it said. I thought it was Methodist, but it says Universalist on it. That's very, very different from Methodist. Okay, here's the Methodist church right here, which is also a historic marker. But that other church back there, that's like abandoned, it's got boarded up windows, that's the cool church, and it was a Universalist church. I got both of them mixed up. I forgot there were two different churches. But there's actually a third one if you guys saw it. Yeah, Methodists are very different than Universalists. I'm sure you know that if you know anything about the Christian religion. You know they're two very different denominations. But check out Alabama 50 here. That almost looks like an apple orchard or some kind of orchard, fruit orchard right there. I love it out here, man. I love that I can sit back and just look at this and make money while I'm doing it. I love that. Even if it means that it takes longer for me to finish my job, it's worth it, totally. Now we got about another 30 miles before we make our next turn. And that's gonna be onto US 29 North, and that's in Georgia. But it's actually right there on the line. There's a town called Lynette that's actually in Alabama. And it might actually be two different towns, but they're so close to each other that they might as well be one town. They're both old. One is called Lynette, and I think the other one's called West Point. Lynette is in Alabama and West Point is in Georgia, but they're literally touching each other. That's how close they are. We'll go through there, and I'll talk more about it once we get down there. But yeah, for the next 30 miles, it's going to be a bunch of this. I mean, it's pretty much just like this for the next 30 miles. There's an old building up here on the left. It's a school, and it's still got like the school sign. I don't know if they still use that as a school. It's really old. It looks like it's from the freaking 50s or something. But yeah, that's a really old school, and there's still a school zone sign, so they probably still use it. I don't know if it's like a public school or private school or what, but that's an old building. Look at this land right here. That's really pretty, I think. The lake and everything. That's nice. There's a nice house up there too. That lake is like their backyard. Very nice. There's a lot of Venture Express trucks on this road. I'm thinking maybe they have a terminal, or maybe they have a dedicated account somewhere around here. They're all day cabs. But yeah, I see a lot of those Venture Express trucks on this road. Okay, we're coming up on this other town now. I just missed the name of it. Lafayette, that's what it is. And this is where you cross over US 431. So if you turn right there and go south on 431, that'll take you to I-85. Probably like Opelika, somewhere around in that area. I'm not familiar with this part of 431. But I know it does go up. If you turn left, it'll take you to I-20. If you go right, it'll take you to 85. And then if you stay on it, go past 85, you'll get to Phoenix City and eventually Dothan, and it goes all the way down. I think 431 goes all the way to Panama City, Florida. I don't know what we just drove over on that bridge, if that was like a train track or if it was a creek or what. Can't see the bottom of it. We do make a right turn down here, but we're still staying on. It doesn't even register the right turn on the GPS, but we're basically still staying on Alabama 50. I really like it out here. I'm just waiting for like October, November this year. It's gonna be nice out here. I'll probably make another video coming through then. show it to you, but yeah, it's just so peaceful out here. Turn right down here at the Massey Ferguson dealer. I thought Massey Ferguson made tractors. I didn't see one tractor at that place. Past the bus barn. What does that say? Chambers County Board of Education Annex. There's a pretty cool view down here on the right. I'll try to show it to you. Can't remember exactly where it is, but it's pretty nice. Viewpoint. And we're gonna be in that city I was talking about, Lynette, in just a minute. You know, it's stuff like this that makes me appreciate my job being a truck driver. It's stuff like this that keeps me hanging on to it. It's the only real, well, this particular job pays well too, so that has a lot to do with it as well. But every other job I've had as a truck driver, I haven't been compensated very well until this job came along. Check this view out right here. It's pretty nice. But just the fact that they put this load on me, they put an assignment on me, they gave me the address for the customer, and they said, okay, get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and make your delivery. You have to be there by 7 a.m. Central Time. But they didn't tell me how to get there. They didn't tell me which way to go or anything else, because they expect me to know because I'm a professional, right? But that's the cool part about it. They didn't tell me how to get there. I'm not saying that every company's like that, where they have like a mandatory route that you have to take. Some companies are like that, and it has a lot to do with the commodity that you're hauling, I'm sure. It has a lot to do with the customer that you're dealing with, I'm sure. But the fact that they just gave me an address and said, here, you got to be there by a certain time. We don't care how you go, which way you take, but just be there on time. And I said, okay, I can do that. I hope you don't mind that I take a completely unconventional way to get there and to get back. And they don't care. They don't care. However you get there, get there. Don't do anything stupid and don't get on any roads that you're not allowed on. But as far as, you know, that's about as far as it goes. As long as you're there on time and you get there safely, we don't care. And as long as you don't go like 100 miles out of the way, they have told me that before. Don't go 100 miles out of the way to get somewhere. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Sure thing. So I discovered these roads by driving to the place that I left at the beginning of the video. That's how I found all this. Just experimenting, exploring. And I like it. I like this route a lot. This is Lynette. Now, I have an option up here. So we're gonna come to the end of Alabama 50. And we're pretty much on the state line with Georgia. And I can either turn left or right. I've come to find that turning right is the easier option. It's not even that it's easy, it's just more convenient to turn right and go that way. But if you turn left, you get to go through West Point, and I actually want to show that city to you guys. It takes longer, and it doesn't really go out of the way, but it just takes longer to do what I ultimately am trying to do, which is get on Interstate 85. So either way, I can turn left or right and get on 85. Doesn't matter. But I'm gonna turn left to show you guys basically where Lanett and West Point come together. Because this is still Lanett right here. But it's kind of cool. US 29, it goes up through West Point. You go around a couple curves, and it's like the historical part of town. But there's something about it that I want to point out once we get down there. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this movie from the 90s. It's called The War, and it's got Elijah Wood and Kevin Costner in it. It's a really good movie. But it's about like this family, like the dad, he's a Vietnam vet, and it's like post-Vietnam, so he's got like the whole PTSD thing going on and everything. And it's a really good movie, but my point is, it was filmed in Georgia. And this town right here, West Point, Lanett, this whole area that we're about to see, it reminds me of the town that they lived in that movie, The War. And they did film it in Georgia. I don't know if they filmed it here. I'm not saying they filmed it here. I have to look it up to figure out exactly where it was filmed, but it just reminds me of the town in that movie. It's kind of run down, it's old. It doesn't look like it's changed much in the past 60 years, you know. Except for the fact that there's a new Kroger grocery store right there, but the houses and the other buildings around look pretty similar to the town in that movie. There's an old water tower. It's not like the water tower in the movie, but it's like old and rusted out and stuff, and it looks cool. It looks like the movie. The water tower in that movie was freaking insane, but there it is right there. You guys see it? I mean, there's new buildings around, but yeah, the houses are real old. It's kind of run down. And you see that water tower? That reminds me of that movie, The War. It's obviously not the same water tower from the movie, but it reminds me of it. Look, there's like an old pavilion right there. It's really random. It's just sitting there, nothing around it. They got solar panels right there. Solar Research Project, City of Lanett. Now, when we do get up here to 85, I'm gonna give you an example of what I meant in my last video when I said sometimes I combine the back road driving with some interstate driving, because it makes it really convenient and it shaves off a lot of time, as opposed to just completely staying off the interstate totally, you know. Sometimes when you combine just a little bit of interstate driving with the back roads, you can still explore and everything, but you're using the interstate to your advantage, or you're not stuck on it, but you are making your route more convenient when you use the back roads. If you just, you know, jump on the interstate, it can shave a good 30 minutes off of your route sometimes. But we're gonna turn right here. Because this is where US 29 turns right. There's the old part of Lynette right there. And we got this turn. I always like to take that turn a little bit wider than need be, just to make sure that I clear that curb. Overshooting it is way better than undershooting it. And this is like a golf cart city. Sometimes you see golf carts driving around on the roads. It's kind of like Peachtree City in Georgia. There's some construction up here. And we're about to cross over the Chattahoochee. Right there. Old train trestle. That also reminds me of that movie. I can prevent coming through here completely. If you were to turn right back there where that Kroger grocery store was, that takes you right to 85. Like you go down about half a mile and 85's like right there. You're still in Alabama at that point, but we're in Georgia now. This is West Point. There's some, I think I already said this, but there's some construction going on down here. I think they got the right lane closed. Or they did at one point. Don't turn red. Don't turn red. God dang it. Oh well. Now when I do get on 85, I'm gonna go up about $12 miles to exit 18, which is Georgia 109. I'm gonna go east on that road, which takes you to Greenville, Georgia, which we'll also check out. It's another cool town, old, but it's not run down. It's actually like well maintained, well taken care of, and it's nice. It's fancy. But eventually we're gonna get on this highway, state highway. It's 362, I think, and that road will take you all the way to Griffin, and that's what the plan is. So a lot like the previous video when I was coming back from Alabama from Anniston. Yeah, that road that I'm talking about, Highway 362, it takes you pretty much to the same area in Griffin. But you see all the road work they got going. This bridge is brand new. That's the first time I've ever crossed that bridge. A lot going on right here though. Oh wow, look how small that turning lane is. Okay, I can do this. Okay, now we're getting on 85. Like I said, go up about 12 exits to Georgia 109. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, if I didn't get on the interstate right here and I had to keep going on that road that we just got off of, it would add another probably half hour to my route. So it's just not, it's not really worth the trouble to do all that when you can just jump on the interstate for a few miles and shave half an hour off your route. So I'm not completely opposed to getting on the interstate. Sometimes I'll use it to my advantage without having to be stuck on it all the time, you know? Okay, I guess all I really had to tell you guys is that this exit 18, it's LaGrange that we're getting off at. It would have been probably more simple to just tell you that. But I stand corrected. It's actually, it's not 12 miles. It's about 16 miles that you're going to be on I-85 from the exit that we got on. We used to get on I-85 back there. I think that's exit 2. And you come up here to exit 18, so that's 16 miles. It's like the very last exit in Georgia before you get into Alabama. There's a sign for 185 in Columbus right there. But this exit we're getting off at, it'll also take you to F.D. Roosevelt State Park, Little White House, which is actually where he lived after he served his term as president. That's pretty cool. I've been there before. This is it right here. But there's a truck stop as soon as you get on 109. There's a truck stop up here on the right that I usually take a pit stop at. So today's no exception. This is usually the point where I'm like, okay, I gotta pee. I'm not holding it anymore. I've been holding it since I left Alabaster, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop and take care of business. And I'm gonna do the same thing right now, because it's another good hour and 20 minutes till I get back. There's no light right here, so you got to be careful making this turn. There's usually quite a bit of traffic coming this way, so. And there are 2 lanes, but the thing is, they'll do that. You see what that van just did? They'll merge right there. So you got to watch them. And here's the truck stop. Oh man, there's a truck parked where I usually park. That's okay. I'll figure out something else. I usually park right there where that R&L truck is. That's usually where I park. This place is full today. I'm only gonna be in there for like a minute, so I'm just gonna come over here. And run in real quick. So guys, I know you can't tell, but I am actually not in my truck today. This is another driver's truck. And I noticed something about it. There is actually a CB radio in this truck, but I can't figure out how to get it to work. Now it's connected to the speakers in the truck, but I can't. I mean, I got it on channel 19, but it's just not, it's not doing anything. I can get the weather band
highs in the upper 80s. Southwest
to work on it,
10 miles
but
an hour. Chance of rain 60%. Friday night, mostly cloudy. A chance.
I can't get it to work. And since it's not mine, I'm gonna put it back on the channel that I found it on, and I'm just gonna turn it off because I don't want to mess with it. It's not mine. But yeah, that's the first time I've ever messed with a CB. Been a truck driver for 7 years, and I never had a CB radio. Does that mean I'm not a real trucker? I've never needed one. I mean, I get why. I understand why they say that you do need a CB radio, but I've gotten by just fine without one. I'm sure it would be helpful. It's nice to know, you know, how things look, you know, like the condition of things before you actually come up on them and stuff, I suppose. I guess it eliminates the element of surprise in a lot of cases. You just keep it on channel 19. That's the trucker channel, right? Do I at least have that much right about it? Pretty sure that's the channel truck drivers use. But yeah, I've just never had one, never used one, never really felt like I needed one. Okay, let's go. This is Georgia 109, and what this is going to do is take us over to Greenville, Georgia. Like I said, it's a nice looking city. I want to point it out for you. There's not really much to film between here and there. There is an abandoned building up here on the left somewhere that I always thought looked pretty cool. And there's a church up here. It's got a sign that says Church for Cowboys, or Cowboy Church, or something like that. That's kind of interesting looking. That's 185 right there. We just crossed over. There's the abandoned barn right there that I wanted to point out. I know you couldn't see it very well. Whoa, I just hit a bird. Sorry, birdie. Here's the church I was talking about. It's called Open Range Cowboy Church, right there. Okay, we're in Greenville now. Mile and a half, we're gonna get to that square I've been talking about. The courthouse is like right in the middle of the square, and it just looks really cool. Very historical. This is Meriwether. Did I say that right? Meriwether County, Georgia. It's kind of funny that it's called Meriwether, because some of the weather here is not very merry. Look at these houses though. They get tornadoes around here. Like all the storms that come from Alabama, like anytime Georgia gets a tornado, it always comes from Alabama. And yeah, those tornadoes I was talking about a couple videos ago, the ones that hit Griffin, and then one of them, or actually a couple of them, hit Jackson. They came from this area and they went east, like northeast. Check it out though. It's pretty cool, right? Nice. I always put my turn signal on right here. There's only one way you can go. You have to turn right. It's a one-way square. But by habit, I always put my turn signal on. Nice looking town. I like it. Those houses back there, those are like well over $1 million. And that's an interesting building right there. Wonder what that was. Okay, but I'm pretty sure this is still 109. But this is also US 27 alternate, which we were on this road in the other video where I was coming back from Anniston, but we were much further north from here on Alt 27. So it's the same road. They've actually got part of it shut down right now. They're replacing one of the bridges up here, and we should see a sign for it. Whoa, you're not gonna pull out on me, are you? I didn't know. It looked like they were about to pull right out and just run right into me. There's a jail right there, like an old jail. And it's right next to a school. See that? Kind of weird to put a jail right next to a school, but the jail's been there for a while. They just put that school's not very old. That's a new building. Yeah, there's a sign up here saying that the bridge is out. And there's like a little way station right here that I guess, you know, when the DOT, they do their blitz every August. There's like a whole week where they're just basically scrutinizing the living crap out of every truck that they can get their hands on that's on the road. It says it's 7 miles ahead. But I guess they use that little way station pull-off thing when they're doing their blitz every year. And let's see, well, between this point and Griffin, there's really not a whole lot to point out to you. I mean, it's nice looking out here, nice land and everything, but there's really not a whole lot to point out. There's a lot of forestry, like timberland out here, farmland, nice houses like that one to the left there. But that's about it. If we come up on anything particularly noteworthy, I'll point it out, but really not much to show you out here. But I know that you've been looking at a lot of stuff that's similar to this, so I won't try to put too much of this in the video, but yeah, it's definitely a great alternative to using the interstates. So that's all forestry right there. It's they're waiting on those trees to get bigger, all those pine trees, before they cut them down. There's a new patch, or a patch of land right here that's got like young pine trees on it that they're growing up, farming, I guess. Now this is Georgia 362, and it's kind of going to do the same thing that Alabama 22 that we were on earlier did, where you come up here, you take a left, and it's still 362, and then you take a right to stay on 362. And it goes all the way to Griffin, all the way to US 19 and 41. Okay, so as I was saying, a left turn here to stay on 362. Now we got a right turn coming up in less than a mile. And this right turn, it's kind of a fun one sometimes because the road is pretty narrow, and well, most of the time it's okay, but a lot of times you'll have traffic coming up on the perpendicular road, the one we're gonna turn right onto, and if they come all the way up to the stop sign, I don't have enough room to make my right turn, so I have to sit in this lane with my right turn signal on until they go. But a lot of times they'll come up and they'll just stare at me and like look at me like, what are you doing? Why are you just sitting there? And I just have to look at them like, come on, you're the reason why I'm just sitting here. I cannot move until you move. All right, today it looks all right though. Looks like we're gonna have no problem. But yeah, I mean, I've sat there in the road for a few minutes sometimes because they just keep coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up, and they all come to the end of the road and stop at the stop sign, and I have to wait until all of them clear out to make my turn. And then if I've got somebody on that road that's behind me, they're getting really frustrated and irritated with me because I'm blocking the road and they can't go anywhere. So that's kind of an interesting right turn back there. Part of me kind of wishes that it would have happened so you guys would understand what I'm talking about. If you're a truck driver, you do understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, most of the time it's no problem, but every now and then it takes a while to turn right back there. Okay, we're coming up on a little town right here. I think this is Alvaton. No, it's Hollandville, sorry. Hollandville. Kind of a sharp curve right here. Followed by another one. Yep, just wide open spaces though. The way I like it. This property right here, it's like a business. It's called Poppy's Treasures. And I guess the guy, he's like I guess Poppy, he's a metal worker, but he makes like lawn decorations out of scrap metal, I guess. It's kind of like, it reminds me of, you know, the movie Twister? The character that Helen Hunt played, her aunt, you know, when they like went over to her aunt's house. And then like later on in the movie, her aunt's house got hit by the tornado. But her aunt was like a metal worker, and she made all those different like windmills and all wind chimes and all that stuff that you put in your yard. Well, that's what that place reminds me of. It's pretty much the same thing. Okay, this is Williamson right here. Another small town, Pike County. Don't do it. Oh my God. You're gonna need to move. Are you literally sitting there having a freaking conversation blocking a state highway? Oh my gosh, that just happened. Try not to make a big deal out of it, but good grief. I mean, I could have been a complete jerk and just laid on my air horn until he got out of the dang way. We're almost back now. I mean, we're getting pretty close to Griffin. You hit that one a little fast, didn't you, bro? Golly. That's a rough railroad track right there. That dump truck, man. looked like he just rattled his freaking brain loose. That was funny looking. Did you guys see that? Yeah, I done learned my lesson with those railroad tracks. You gotta go over those things slow. If you're not careful, you can like knock your front end out of alignment real easy going over those too fast, or you can pop a tire. All right, this is Griffin right here. We're gonna turn left on US 1941 and go up one exit, because it's kind of an expressway, this part of it, and that will be Highway 16, which you guys, if you watch my videos, you're familiar with that. You should recognize where we are once we get on 16. And if you saw that other video when I was coming back from Anniston, I keep referencing it, so. And that's what I mean when I say both routes that I use coming back from Alabama, they both end up in the same place, in Griffin on Highway 16. I guess the last thing I'll capture is that intersection where I turn off of 16 and onto 155. I know I probably filmed that too much. I know I like over filmed it on my last channel, but it's always interesting making that right turn. There's always some kind of challenge to it. I mean, it hardly ever goes off smoothly. So it never really gets old for me. There's always a car hanging out in the intersection past the white line on the road that I'm trying to turn onto that's like in my way. So I just have to like finagle my way through every time. Or there might be a train coming, or the light might turn red on me. It's a pretty challenging and hectic turn to make, but that's what makes it fun. Sometimes I get lucky and I actually roll through all these lights. It's like, it's rare, but sometimes it happens. I'll take it. You guys notice how like lately traffic lights at busy intersections like this, the green arrow won't turn green until the traffic going straight goes. So you'll get a regular green light before you get a green arrow. I don't know why they're setting these lights up like this now, or they're programming them to do that. Used to be the first thing to happen is that there would be a green arrow, and then when the green arrow was done, then the light would turn green. But now they're like changing it, they're making it the opposite of what it used to be. I don't know why. Maybe there's a good reason why, I'm not sure. See, now it's green. Okay. This is kind of like a gauntlet right here for me. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it's agonizing. It just all depends on the moment. Okay, everything's green. Okay, it looks good. That pickup truck, that white pickup truck down there, he's behind the line. So maybe I can actually make this right turn without having to use both lanes right here. For once, that hardly ever happens. See, when they're behind the line like that, I can make the turn, no freaking problem. But they're hardly ever behind that line. They're usually always hanging out in the intersection. And I just barely am able to make the turn without hitting something. But that fellow pays attention, thankfully. Okay guys, I'm going to leave you here for now. And until I come up with the next idea or plan for the next video, I'm slowly tallying off my routes for you, like the different routes that I've custom made for each load that I have, and we're slowly getting through each one of them. There are more, so there's still quite a bit more left to show you that you haven't seen from all the different places that I go. I also go to Savannah at least once every week to pick up a container. So I have yet to show you that. Those loads, they're more, I would say, bland. There's not really a whole lot to show you from those loads. I spend most of my time on the interstate. Like 95% of that route is on the interstate. So I mean, I could show it to you if you want to see it, and I might eventually, but until then, until I come up with the next plan as far as making a video, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like button so my channel can grow, people can find me on YouTube. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care. All right, later.